Okay, page 3 of our review. Okay, continuing on, let's take a look. We are asked to graph. So again, when you look at this particular one, you know that that is intercept form. So y is equal to a, x minus p, x minus q. That is intercept form. I know my intercepts are going to be what? P0 and Q0. Okay, and then to find my axis of symmetry, I'm going to need to know what P plus Q over 2 is. Okay, so when I look at this, I know that the x-intercepts are 2, 0, and negative 6, 0. So let me graph those. 2, 0, and negative 6, 0. I've got that. Does this parabola open upward or downward? Positive number in front, so this parabola opens up. So the axis of symmetry, I need to figure out what P plus Q over 2 is. So in this case, P is equal to 2, Q is equal to negative 6. So 2 plus negative 6 over 2, that is going to be negative 4 over 2. That is negative 2. So my axis of symmetry is x equal negative 2. So at negative 2, I can just graph this vertical line, and I know that is my axis of symmetry. Now, my vertex has to lie on this line, okay? And I know it's going to have to be below the axis because it opens upward. So let's find that. So I can just plug in negative 2 into that equation. So if I want to figure out, so I need to figure out when x is negative 2, what does y equal? So that's going to be 1/2 times negative 2 minus 2, and then negative 2 plus 6. So that is 1/2 of negative 4 times 4. So that's negative 16. Half of negative 16 is negative 8. So at negative 2, negative 8, that is where I will find my vertex. Okay. So that is my vertex. I can find another point. So I know which way it goes, but I might can find the y-intercept. Sometimes I may ask you that. So to find the y-intercept, remember that is what happens when x equals 0. So when x is equal to 0, I get 1/2, and then, negative 1/2, and I'll have what? Negative 2 times 6. So that is, oh, let me back up. I made a mistake. Did I make a mistake? Oh, sorry. No, that's a plus 1/2 in front. I don't know why I got the negative there. This opens upward. So to find the y-intercept, set x equal to 0. This is what? Negative 12 over 2. Y is equal to negative 6. So 0, negative 6 is the y-intercept. So 0, negative 6 is this point, but it also gives me a symmetrical point right here. So now I really have enough points to accurately graph this parabola, and I see that it does this. Okay, so you want enough points that you have a good, accurate representation of what the parabola looks like. Every parabola we do in this section will have a domain of negative infinity to infinity. The range is the y-axis, so that vertex is at 2, negative 2, negative 8. So that range is from negative 8 to infinity. And we're good to go. So now they're asking me to graph, similar to that, graph y is greater than 1/2 x minus 2x plus 6. So an inequality, I look at that inequality and I know immediately I'm going to be drawing a dotted line, okay? So I just need to replicate what I drew there a moment ago. So I had axis of symmetry at negative 2. So I had a line right here. Negative 2, negative 8. That was where the vertex was. And then I found points at what? At negative 6 and 2. So negative 6 and 2. And then I had a y-intercept at 0, negative 6. So 0, negative 6 was right here. That means I also have the point here. So I will draw a dotted line, a dotted parabola. And then I just need a test point. So I'm going to test right there at 0, 0. So I've got y is greater than 1/2 x minus 2 x plus 6. I will test that at 0, 0. So is 0 greater than 1/2 negative 2 times 6? So is 0 greater than negative 12? The answer is yes. 0 is greater than negative 12. Therefore, this is the solution, because 0, 0 is now part of the solution. So that is the graph of the inequality that came from that intercept parabola that we just graphed.